And so what we're going to do first of all is we're going to look at some of our right hand external turning tools. So I'm going to move these out of the way. First we'll look at our profiling tools. So our profiling tools have an insert that is much more pointy than some of our other holders. And see, you can see how they come to a point, and that allows them to get around a corner as you're turning on the outside of a part. So now on these tools, you change the inserts. All of them are insertable. And to change the insert, you remove the top clamp. This one has two separate cutting edges. So we take it in. When it gets worn out, we'll just take and we'll flip it around and be ready to go again. So make sure that we're tightening it down, and there we go. Now, this is one of our Haas turning tools. It's similar. It takes a little smaller Allen wrench. It's got a clamp that goes down on the top of it, and then we've got a pin that runs down through the top, and so it locks into that hole, keep the insert from moving around while it sits in this cavity. Now, one of the things you want to watch for on these tools is that they have a seat. Not only do you have to make sure that the insert's good, you want to make sure that the seat is in good condition as well. So as you take that, you tighten it down. You want to make sure that the insert goes all the way down. The clamp goes all the way down. The seat's in there so that it's flush. Next, we have a threading tool. And this is our OD threading tool. And it has three separate sides. And the insert changes with this Torx wrench. So we change the insert out. It also has a seat. You want to make sure the seat is in good condition. It has 3 indexable points on it. It's not reversible. So you put it in there, make sure that it seats in good, has good contact. Tighten down this screw. It then self-centers, and you're ready to go. Next, we have a grooving tool. This really thin insert in there. So here we have our parting blade style tool, and you have an adjustable blade, then you have the insert for it, and then it sets in the tool holder. You want to make sure that it's out the right distance, but not too far. Generally, this area right here should be just a little larger than the radius of the stock that you're working with. Next, we have a gang tool setup. This is a spot drill, drill, and tap. They would all be in the same turret position, but separate offsets. For example, turret position 4, offset 4, turret position 4, offset 5, turret position 4, offset 6. Here's one, very similar, also gang style. So we would drill it and then use this small insertable boring bar for it to take the hole to size. Here you have a sleeve and then an insertable spade drill. You replace this tip. It's got an insert here and an insert here. It sets into a sleeve. This boring bar sleeve, this is a dedicated boring bar sleeve. So you're going to put it in here, and then you're going to take and you will loosen up the jack screw. Once this jack screw is loose and out of the way, and you can see that it's gone right there, you can't see it anymore, you'll take and tighten these 2 socket head cap screws down, and then that'll secure the drill in the holder. Now, to remove it, you're going to reverse the process, loosen the 2 socket head cap screws, and then tighten the jack screw in so that it forces this area out, so it makes a kind of a wedge. You can now pull this out and it's ready for a different tool, such as this Jacob's chuck with a large high-speed steel drill on it. And so same thing, we're going to tighten or loosen this set screw up, and then we would tighten the 2 socketed cap screws down, and then we would be ready to go for that. Our final thing that we want to look at is internal turning. Now, internal turning, which is often called boring, is the same thing as external turning, but it's from the inside out. So here we have a 3-sided insert, and it's reversible, so it has no relief here. You actually get 6 tips off of this, so you can wear out all 3 of these, flip it over, and then cut the other 3. And then this one is, so this style boring bar doesn't have a seat. It just uses the bottom of the boring bar itself, just to save some space. It's got a torque screw. There's no insert in this one, but this, you can see it's made so that it can cut into a profile. Now, what I've showed you are just a couple of the insert styles and a couple of the cutting tools that we have. There's as many as you can dream of in the turning world. So let's take a look at how they go into the machine. All right, so what I have here is the turret on one of our TL1s. And it's got different turret stations. So they're marked out 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is turret position 1. This is turret position 3. So when we're indexing, we can be an MDI, and we can program in T1 or T101. The first T designates the turret position. So in our program here, our part that we're going to be working on, we'll go ahead and put in a couple of different tools just so you can see how they go. So this is our turret position 1, and it'll index around so that the tool would be facing this way. So the way we put that in is we set it in here. We want it to stick out enough that we can get to the screw, but then we're going to tighten all 3 of these down. You want to make sure you're applying good pressure to them so that you can get there and make sure that they are in secured. And so in our program that we're going to run, we're going to have our second tool. And here for our second tool, we'll have our threading tool. So it'll go into this position here. Third tool in this program is going to be our parting or grooving tool. So we'll open up the set screws or remove the set screws enough that we can get our parting blade, our part off tool in here. And if you'll notice, I'm setting it in here far enough that it's about flush with the front of this corner. And we'll tighten the screws. Next, we want to measure the length of the blade. We want the blade to stick out just short, or just a little bit longer than the radius of the part that we're working on. So we're working with some 1-inch material. So we're going to set our part out so it sticks out about 700 thousandths. That would essentially cut off a part that was 1.4 long. So then we'll tighten these screws, and we should be ready to go for an external setup. Now, not always will our tools run 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes they might run 1 and 4. Sometimes they might run 1, 3, and 4. Doesn't matter on the combination that we use. All right, next, let's take a look at some of our internal tools and some of our gang tools. Now, if we were to set up one of our gang tools, say for instance we wanted to tap a hole, we have our 3/8 gang setup already ready to go. And so we would set it in here like this, tighten these screws up, apply some good pressure to it, make sure that they're really tight. And now we have our spot drill, drill, and tap ready to run. And they would stay in this position as they run. So it's different than the way that they set here. In a normal position, they might set with the insert facing this way, but here they're gonna go to this position and they'll run across like this. Now watch when we set in one of our drills. So we have our spade drill ready to go here. And we'll take it, we'll loosen the set screws, and we'll tighten it up. And if you'll notice, it sits in a different position than the rest of them. So this one, it's at turret position 4. It would still probably be offset number 4, but this way it faces a different direction than the other tools. So if you'll notice when it indexes, let's just say we were gonna set another one of our stick tools in turret position 4. So I have this separate grooving tool. If we wanted to put it in here, its position would face this way because it's ready for cutting action this direction.